Coming up on Hold All Tickets, Group 1 Goodwood Day with an Everest winner thrown in at the weight scale. And Lammy, will the new racing league be a success?
The risk of sounding like a narc, I don't think it'll be the game changer that they're hoping it will be.
Of course, Hollandale Stakes Day up on the Gold Coast. All of your tips and much more coming up right now on Hold All Tickets. Hello and welcome to Hold All Tickets. It's Thursday, May 8th, and I reckon this is the weekend that the Queensland Winter Carnival really kicks off because we have Hollandale Day up at the Gold Coast, but of course in Adelaide, the Group 1 Goodwood takes centre stage with the return of Giga. I'm your host, Alex Donnelly. Been away for the last few weeks and I'm about to go away again, joined as always by James Lamb. G'day, Lammy.
G'day, Alex. I'm actually a little bit surprised to see you today.
Yeah, it's a bit weird coming into the office for the first time in a couple of weeks, but
that's not why. I'm surprised that you've shown your face after you were tipped $100 winner.
Oh yes,
that you didn't pass on to any of your colleagues or friends here in the office, even just to don't think it'll win, but a couple of bucks each way would have been nice.
Yes.
What do you have to say for yourself?
The full context is my father had a big day last week at Wagga on Town Plate Day.
Did he what?
About 2 to 3 minutes before the race, everyone that's congregated in Wagga every year, just like, he had 2 runners in the race. This is what everyone forgets. There was one at 60s, which he said, no, it's there for the experience. It'll gain a lot from today. He's like, this other one.
Wagga's answered a weary.
Yeah, he's like, I'm having one bet over the carnival and it's Master Patrick in this race because he's always liked him and he got back to last, got up the inside, picked off the fence and Ash Morgan, God bless him, got up in the last couple of strides. Few of us took 150s on course.
Sure, it's not me.
As I said, when people are, where's the tip for that? I was like, could have texted me pre-race. could have texted me at the start of the day. I would have tipped the thing in the first that ran third at 50s. And in fairness, I would have tipped Tormato, who won later in the day. But thank God my engagement.
I will say you were firing through Self-Trumpeters on the text, so you couldn't just sneak in a little tip in amongst them. Yeah,
look, I got a bit carried away and excited trying to run around. I can't really blame the lack of phone service in Wagga because it's actually picked up in the betting ring there. But yeah, good couple of days in Wagga. But
anyway, we'll have to move on.
Yeah. We are brought to you by Boom Bet here on Hold All Tickets. Great fixed odds, more vote and more boom moments. Sign up today and get in on the boom. But of course, follow us on Punters at YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and X. If you go across to the YouTube channel, of course, you will see the notifications button and the subscribe button. So hit that because we've got a lot of videos coming out over the coming weeks as well. Going into winter, of course, we've got some World Pool racing coming up, a lot of Hong Kong stuff going on as well. And just for our usual fun and silliness across social media, Facebook, Instagram and X. But Lammy, it is your time to shine. We found a fair few nominations this week. There was a couple of crackers for the Self-Trumpeter of the Week.
Yes. Speaking of fun and silliness, as you just referenced. 1 vote, Punting Baron. Just a minor indiscretion here, just a little 1 vote. It was an opportunistic I was there trumpet from the Baron. So Bakes posted a complaint about the internet service at Warrnambool during their carnival. It's funny you mentioned the phone stuff at Wagga, no such issues. Bakes said, I know it's only 2025, but hopefully someone can organise Wi-Fi at the Bull. I reckon millions of dollars missed in turnover on course, etc. Barron replied with, and that was just your turnover, mate. So a little cheeky joke there, like that. Seems like internet connection everywhere is an issue though, not just the Bull. Grand final day last year at MCG was cactus as well. So Barron, he lives a good life. He was just letting us know that he was at the G on grand final day, no doubt sinking a few tins.
So we'll give Wagga credit. There's those little extenders that they have around them. There's one dead zone in the middle of the betting ring, but if you get 5 steps either side of it, you're good to go.
Nice, yeah. The Bull, even when I was there a while ago, it was tough getting on, which probably wasn't a bad thing the way I punted. 2 votes, Steve Hewlett, straight out of the Snowy Clark Handbook of Self-Insertion here. Steve tweeted, Craig Newitt hoping to win another Queensland major on Pride of Jenny in the Doomben Cup. Craig won a Stradbroke previously on La Montagne. Trainer Barry Baldwin declared the horse would win in a post-race chat with myself weeks prior. Then he's posted the 40-second interview, which finished with a little piece to camera from a very young Steve. So he's just inserted himself into that report about Froggy. 2 votes, Scott at Skomers. Not ScoMo, at Skomers. Classic bit of post-race expertise from Scotty here. He posted, how was Libertad $84 on the tote? He ran third to Jolie Star 2 starts ago. Where were you before the race, Scotty boy?
There was a couple in this race.
It's always easy after the fact. 3 votes, Gibbo at Gabba's Neigh, I think. Warrnambool Racing Carnival. Couldn't get down there, but geez, I love it. Got the quaddie all 3 days, which just staggers me. How good is the bloody bull? So he's got the catch cry a little bit upside down there, but 3 votes for Gibbo, 3 quaddies. 3 quaddies on the bounce. That's unheard of.
That's absurd.
Especially at the bull.
I was about to say, I got 3 legs on 3 consecutive days.
I got the quaddie on day 1.
Nice, well done.
I think it was my only collect. 3 votes, Julian at the judge. The judge won. So 2 votes for the post-race bugle blow, plus an extra one for calling himself the judge. He's given himself that title.
Yeah.
It's a worthy trumpet, but a trumpet all the same. So again, Libertad. Few backed it. I don't know how it started at $84. Julian posted his bet slip, odds of $100 for Libertad. He left out the stake though. He went with the caption, "A new record for me," with a little trumpet emoji. So self-reporting with the little trumpet, but still a 3-voter there. So that's us for this week. Libertad featuring heavily.
Libertad very heavily. So Miles Fitzner still in front on 28, Andrew Hawkins 21, Xavier Peagam on 14, Damien Ratcliffe 9, and the Wiz after his votes last week up into 5th, equal on 8 votes with Jacko Oldham. So the Wiz just doing his little bit for us. We love the Wiz on this show.
Most consistent.
He is. He just consistently, he's like Bond.
Yeah.
He's probably the best, but he never wins it.
He also wins best teamman as well.
Yeah.
He's the one we love out of the Self-Trumpeters.
Yeah, those are Mr. Brightside people over in Hong Kong. Regardless of the result, they were there to have a good time. So I hope they enjoyed it. I need to tell you, though, that Thoroughbred Sales is the #1 online horse platform for owners looking to buy a racehorse with over 130 trainers and syndicators eligible to choose from. Horses will be eligible to run in their new $4 million race series with over 400 races having a bonus. So check out Thoroughbred Sales today. Okay, Lammy, we need to get into the review of last week. And let's be honest, we dusted off Sheo. He'd been sitting there waiting for a long time to make his return.
Yeah.
And he didn't cover himself in glory.
Probably 4 or 5 years in the spelling paddock.
Yeah.
And we'll tip him back out as well. Now, he did preface the tipping segment by saying he's not a tipster.
No.
He's a journo first, and he specialises in the quirkier gear rather than your hard fast tipping. So, saying all that, he had a wipeout. SA Derby, American Wolf, nah. Queensland Guineas, Boomtown Boss, nah. Victory Stakes, Hidden Wealth, nah.
Watch Hidden Wealth win by 5 next start.
3 unplaced.
Oh.
That's the ultimate wipeout from Sheo there. In fairness to him, none of those were overly short in the market. They were all sort of between $5 and $10.
No, he had a crack. Hidden Wealth, watch him turn it around next start. He seems to do that every now and then. He'll absolutely turn it up and then come out next start and win. Our boss, Adam, absolutely loves that horse.
Yes, so I have noticed him tip that horse.
Don't worry. Got the text on Saturday when Depth of Character won. So, watch Hidden Wealth next. Didn't get a response after the race. But your best bet, Lammy.
Yeah.
Well done. Oak Hill.
It worked out beautifully. I don't know if you watched the race, but the jockey on for Pseudo, I think it might have been Bo Mertens possibly, was behind the leader in the run to the turn. And then just popped off the fence.
Beautiful.
And Oak Hill got the absolute saloon passage. Everyone was praising Blake Shin. It was a good ride, but he didn't actually have he didn't have to do anything. He just stayed to the fence and got the dream run. Next best was Smart Little Miss, 3rd. Just wasn't quite pinging at the end of 1100 as we saw first and second up. And the value, he's our Bonneville, suck me it again. 4th again.
Always.
Settled a lot closer than I thought. Had his chance to get into the minor money, but was pretty flat at the business end. He won't get mine again until next time.
There's always a few horses like that. I think we can safely put my brother's keeper in the bin after his inglorious effort at Wagga last week. They ran 2 minutes flat. They went really quick, and
he was gassed.
Including my horse, Cliff House. They got absolutely busted up in behind.
Yeah.
But anyway, we need to have a look at this weekend's selections. Of course, we do need to hear from our friends at Boombet. Great fixed odds, more value, and more boom moments. Sign up today and get in on the boom. Now, Chris has sent through the email this week, and he's like, not really a lot going on at the moment, boys. I think everyone, after there was Magic Round last week, you had the Bull and you had Wagga, so everyone's just like, oh, what's going on here? He said,
broke.
Everyone's broke, and just away we go for another Group 1. But he said, not a lot of action really this weekend. He said, they think Giga kicks a bit of unders in the Group 1 at Goodwood, hence why he's going to be the Boom odds special this week. You can get $5 about Giga kick in the Goodwood Stakes. So check out Boom Bet for that, of course. Terms and conditions apply with how much you can get on. But yeah, Giga kick is under the odds, but they do see a bit of money coming in for Reserve Bank and think he'll shorten up even more and even a meaner. So a bit of something going on there, but we do need to talk about the Group 1 Goodwood Stakes. It is, as I said, it is the Group 1 this weekend. It almost looks too simple.
It does. It looks too good to be true. The last time you used the phrase weighted moral on this show,
banned it.
Didn't end well. Was it Macarena?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
But saying that, I'm not going to use that term, that phrase, but geez, he's hard to tip against. He's 116 rater carrying 54.5, 2 kilos less than the top weights who were rated 107 and 108.
Like, imagine carrying 2 kilos less than Charmstone. No disrespect to Charmstone, was a good winner last start, but Christ almighty, it doesn't seem fair.
Yep. And I know he's first up off a reasonably long break, but it was only 2 starts ago that he finished second in the Everest. I mean, on paper, he does look home.
Yes.
But, as we know,
barrier 12.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not too concerned about the barrier.
Yeah.
He's a pretty adaptable horse. We've seen him go forward. We've seen him go back. And it's a track that generally horses do get their chance. They tend to sort of fan out around the turn. Look, this race is miles off the Everest, and I don't think it will require the best version of Giga Kick to be winning. Just needs a half-decent steer. The map, I guess, is the query, as you mentioned, but Zara's the right man for the job. And look, $2.30-ish as we record.
$2.25 with Boom Bet or $5 with the special.
It's tempting.
It's also, you add in Mark Zara's getting down to 54.5 in the second week of May.
Yep.
That's a bit of a push in itself because Group 1 Zara is a thing, but he's not getting down to that weight for no reason. I know there's $1 million on the line, but if he didn't think this thing was almost a good thing, he wouldn't be doing it.
Yep.
He's almost due to go on holiday actually, because he does nip off for about 6 weeks usually. So yeah, I think he goes this and then across to Doomben for the 10,000 or the Kingsford Smith, whichever order they're in now. So yeah, Giga Kick, $2.25. I'm with you as well. I think just bit of luck, he'll win. It's he's looked great in his jump outs and his trials. So if he's good to go, we're backing Clayton Douglas in. It does look
second favourite looks very short.
Reserve Bank. Yeah. There's what he's done so far requires a bit of a jump. Like I think Charmstone should probably be second favourite. Like
I've got a meaner.
She's always been pretty good. Like if Charmstone can run up to last start and even go back to when she was a placing in the Golden Rose, that puts her in the finish here. But if Giga Kick brings his best, it's just game over.
I don't even think he needs to be his best, something close to it.
Yeah, that's fair. Other meetings on the weekend. I'll be tipping up at Gold Coast this weekend. I didn't want to, I'll be honest, I didn't want to venture towards Gosford for the Wave or whatever it was called. I thought Gold Coast had the better racing, the better jockeys and the better horses overall. The rail's in the true position. We are on a soft 6 there. Best bet comes up in race number 5. It's the Ken Russell Memorial Classic for the 2-year-olds over 1,200 metres. I'm with the favourite Beedman here for Snowden and J-Mac here. But the format of the debut run at Kembla was quite good. The winner was just beaten in town at its next start. Third went to Wagga last week in the 2-year-old and won that by 4 and probably could have won it by 10 the way the race was run. You also go to that. He ran the 7th fastest last 800 of the day at at Kembla and 9th fastest last 200 metres of the day. Then he went to Newcastle, sat bang on speed. He won quite well. Now gets James McDonald on board from a good gate. I think he can settle just in behind the leaders. But if he gets that bit of luck at the top of the straight, he should be too good. J-Mac and China Horse Club seemingly win a race like this every 6 months. So
they do. It's ballsy though, going with the 2-year-old as your best bet.
I know.
But it has had 2 starts.
Yes.
So I think it's more of a risk when you back them off one brilliant debut.
On debut, he was solid.
Yeah.
Then he took the next step at his next start. And if he wasn't a decent enough colt, you think that Snowden might have turned him out or something. So this looks like a horse that could be going towards an Atkins or something else.
Yep.
Next best comes up in race number 7, the Hollandale. Going number 2, Buckaroo for Waller and J-Mac again. It's a pretty obvious play here, but his run first up in the George Ryder was absolutely phenomenal the way the race was run there. But you have a look at the sectionals on the day. Third best last 400 of the day, and fourth best last 200 of the day. That includes a day where you're running the Galaxy and the Golden Slipper. So for Buckaroo, a stayer resuming to do that is really good. He was solid in the Queen Elizabeth in a race that really wasn't run to suit him, but he always looked like he was going to Queensland, given he was second up in the Queen Elizabeth. Go back third up last preparation. He won an Underwood over 1,800 metres, absolutely smashed them on track with a bit of give in it there. There's some give in the Gold Coast track at the moment. And if you have a look at the map, he led over 1,600 metres in the Chelmsford when he won last preparation. Lindeman's drawn right next to him. He can just tag Lindeman across here. If he can get across in the first couple and get a soft enough run there, he's just going to be too good for them. So I'm hoping that J-Mac rolls forward. I know it's not Waller's go sometimes, but this is a gelding. They're trying to pick up as much prize money as possible. Doomben Cup and Q22's on the way. So roll forward and try and pick it up. So if they go back, I don't think he can win.
Kovaleika could really troll you here as the stablemate.
Please God,
just getting
no.
a split, booming home and knocking off Buckaroo.
And Annabelle's going for 5 Hollandales in a row.
Yeah, what a record.
Absolutely insane record. Best value, race number 6 and number 1, Bazusto for Annabelle. And Josh Parr takes the ride here. About $12.40 right now with Boombet. Was a Magic Millions Guineas winner last preparation, then went across to New Zealand and just ran into here to shock, who absolutely smashed him in that Group 1. But ratings-wise, he's really well placed here at the set weights. He should be giving the next horse 10 kilos. His trials coming to this have been quite good. He's still a colt, which is why I went across to New Zealand for that Group 1. He needs to start winning races like this. I know he's probably going to try and get into the Stradbroke on a limit weight or even go to a 10,000, but he needs to start winning some of these races if he's going to find a home at the stud. And he's really well placed here from barrier 5. He gets a good run. And Emirati's the favourite. Like, please.
Yep.
I've had enough of that horse.
Fair enough.
Caulfield for you, Lammy, this weekend.
Yes, Caulfield, not a bad card. I was pleased to see that it's 9 races down from the usual 10 when I was doing the form. So my best bet actually goes around in the last race, 9, number 10, Pivot City. Hasn't put a foot wrong in 3 runs since being gelded. Won over 1,200 on resumption for finishing second to LOU, who's airborne at the moment. He was probably beaten by the barrier and the bias that day, and then third to Marble 9. So his form's really good. Second in his most recent race was Sunshine in My Pocket, who then came out and won well in this grade last Saturday. So all the forms stacking up. I think he'll get the job done for us in the last. Next best, race 2, number 1, Zeryab, comes back from the Warrnambool Cup to a benchmark 84. It is a quick backup, and he's been up for a while, but I'm hoping he's just sort of rock hard fit and one of those horses that can keep getting the job done. Like Mar's got plenty of those in his stable. They do back up and race frequently during this time of the year. Rises significantly in weight, but Kennedy's claims handy. He's 60.5 down to 58.5, so he's well placed in this. Drawn to either lead or take a sit behind the leader. His form certainly stands out in what is a pretty moderate affair.
He's well weighted here, given he was rated 84 last start going into the Warrnambool Cup and only gets a point for running third in a listed race, where sometimes you get absolutely punished for those and you'd be up near 90. But yeah, this is brilliant placement and well looked after by the handicappers.
Indeed. My value, bit of a throw at the stumps here. Race 8, number 2, Oscar's Fortune. He's been, yes, I get the groans. He's been disappointing in Victoria, but he appears to have a few things in his favour. He comes back from listed grade, but actually drops in weight thanks to Bates's claim. He's drawn well, drawn a stalker speed from barrier 2, and he was Group 2 placed in his only previous run at Caulfield. So Caulfield is where he's done his best work in Victoria by a long way. That was his best run here. And a tongue tie for the first time might just lead to a little bit of improvement, because he hasn't quite been running up to the hype. So maybe there have been some little issues there, and a tongue tie might sort him out. So he's a big price, so I'm willing to give him one more chance at big odds.
Yeah, his first time beyond 1,200 metres too. But yeah, like if he's at his best, he was second to Overpass in a Winterbottom. I think he ran third in a Quokka. So good horse, but yeah, maybe also 1,400. They won't go as quick as well, so they can just keep rolling. So I don't mind it. Okay, so we got to get on to the yays and nays as we always do each week. So pretty simple one to start us off this week, Lammy. The newly announced Jockeys League will be good for the game. Yay or nay?
I'm nay. At the risk of being labelled a narc or a naysayer, I don't see the appeal. I don't see how it's going to be this big game changer. Like punters, especially young punters, are they going to care about international jockeys that they care very little, or they know very little about coming to Australia to ride.
Yeah.
Like they're not the stars of the show. They're obviously a big part of it, but they are not the stars. They don't have the pulling power of superstar horses going head to head. Like when I was younger and getting into racing, it was, you remember the horses that were drawing you to it. So it was like Sunline versus Northerly, then it was Mackay, then it was Black Cab versus Haylist, even though that was a one-sided battle. But just the hype around those two horses going head to head, it wasn't, Oliver versus Bossy. I just didn't care about that, and I don't really care about that now. So I get that they're trying something different. I just don't see it being this huge game changer.
For it to work, it needs to be a behind-the-scenes documentary so you can buy into what's going on within this league itself. So you need to see, because there's talk about like Zach Purton like running a team or whatever. So you need to go into the behind-the-scenes of Zach Purton choosing his team, go behind the scenes on the race day where and whenever these 12 jockeys will ride against each other. It needs to be something that you do and then you start filming, and because it's going to be hard to try and release a bunch of it like Drive to Survive before the new season rolls around, because unlike Formula One and everything else, horse racing is 364 days of the year. The only day we get off in Australia is Christmas Day. In some other places around the world, they race on Christmas Day. So I don't think it will work. For me, it seems like rich people getting richer, or in Frankie Dettori's case, getting out of a bankruptcy hole. But there needs to be something that draws the casuals in. Like I finished watching the Netflix documentary on Race for the Crown, the Kentucky Derby Breeders' Cup series. It was quite good. It was interesting. I enjoyed it. I don't think Australian participants will give that kind of access, which is the letdown. Yeah,
well, they need to be sort of brutally honest if this is going to work, and they need to give racing folk or people that aren't even into racing like a real insight into the inner sanctum, and be honest too with like, I absolutely butchered that horse or whatever. Not just paddle out the same jockey quotes that we read every week. Or in Ryan Moore's case, no comment.
He did that in Hong Kong too. Absolutely avoided Andrew Lejeune. Victorians missing out on seeing Ka Ying Rising run in Melbourne should prompt a review of the protocols around international runners in Victoria.
Yay. Huge opportunity probably gone begging here. I mean, you can't exactly rule it out, but it sounds like he's definitely not going to run in Victoria.
Unless there's a change.
Yeah. Imagine having Ka Ying Rising headlining Champions Day at Flemington. Like, it's already a huge day. That would just add another element to it. So for context, this is David Hayes' explanation on why Ka Ying Rising will only race in Sydney this spring. He said, it means he doesn't have to go through the protocols again to run in Melbourne, so the protocols made my decision very easy. It's a rule that needs to be looked at and reviewed, but it's the rule at the moment, so while the rule's in place, I won't consider Melbourne. I would understand it if it's his first run in Australia, but it's not. I'm not asking for any favours, but I think they should review the rule. I think it's overkill. The horse has to go to hospital to have tests. Normally, healthy horses aren't in hospital. He has to travel, which is another risk, have a day away from his routine feed and be tranquilised to have it done. So it's quite an ordeal. That's just if he goes from Sydney to Melbourne.
Yeah, so he gets the CT scan in Hong Kong originally before he comes out. And if that's all clear, PVL and the vets in Sydney are like, sick, you're good to go. Obviously, they'll have normal vet checks before they race in Everest, but not an additional CT scan. And as David Hayes said because I asked the question, I was like, what are you going to do after the Everest? You're going to come to Melbourne or run in the Russell Balding for all the extra money and bonuses? And he just went, nah, this vet protocol sucks. Like, for that reason, like he said, go check the article out on Punters as well. Like, he explained why, and it goes into more detail than that. He's just like, well, I can get more money in Sydney. I don't have to travel, and there's bonuses attached. I also add in, he's a gelding. Just go where the money is. Like, you're not going to split the money there. You earn more money by winning the Russell Balding, but it is a massive miss because I've seen him twice. Not being able to see him if you can't get to Sydney is a miss for people who love racing because he is a brute of a horse. I think he could be the best horse in the world, not just the best sprinter.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity.
Yeah. And finally, we've talked him up, so really just digging ourselves the hole. I'll dig up, stupid. Does Giga Kick go into never again territory if he doesn't win the Group 1 Goodwood this Saturday?
Despite everything I said earlier about him being a weighted moral, even though I didn't say it, I'm Neigh. Like he should be winning, but he is first up over 1,200 in a Group 1. So I don't think it's the end of the road if he does go under. It would be a harsh sacking.
If he flames up and gets beaten 6.
Then yes, probably.
Yeah. But if he's flashing through the line, he's got too far back and he gasses
if he
out.
runs a place.
Yeah.
I mean, the sprinting ranks are very open and even at the moment, as we saw during the Sydney Autumn. So I don't think defeat here would spell the end of his, status at the elite level.
Yep.
But yeah, you wouldn't want to see him sort of tailed off or finishing the last few.
Yeah, no, I agree there. I was like, provided he doesn't tail off, and even if he tanks out at the 100-meter mark and gets beaten a length or so because he's blown out late, completely fine. But yeah, we need to see a positive run from Giga Kick this weekend. That is us done and dusted this week on Hold or Tickets. Of course, thanks to our friends BoomBet. Great fixed odds, more value and more boom moments. Sign up today and get in on the boom. Thank you, Lammy.
Thank you, Alex. Good to have you back briefly. Yes,
I'll be back for one more show and then I'm off again. Of course, make sure you do get around us on the social media, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram at Punters, and of course YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications bell, so anytime we do a video, it does come up there. Of course, across the podcast platforms, subscribe, like, and leave us a review there. And don't forget all the other shows that we have across the network here. AFL Today, AFLW Today, Cricket Today. Of course, we do have True Bloods. If you're a Sydney Swans fan like myself, they do a bit there. And Honest Beers with Wally and Leggy. So a fair bit of content going on at the moment. But we are done and dusted here on Hold or Tickets, and we will catch you next week.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.